Hi, this is Satya teaching you Sphere Application Server on behalf of Excel online classes. We at Excel Online Services to provide services like online corporate training and development, R&D and project support, testing and job consultancy extra. And now I am going to teach you WebSphere Application Server. First of all, I am going to show you what are the contents available in Excel online classes. Um, here you see in WebSphere Application Server we have these course content. Actually, we have architecture and installations and system management, and each and everything one by one. I can brief you well. In architecture, WebSphere Application Server, actually we have to know what are the types, what types interact with the application server, and what is the internal sourcing is going on, and how the client gets the response, what is the internal architecture, and what is the configuration. These are all things we will discuss in architecture. And installations, we can install this operating system, means either Linux operating system or Windows operating system. We can install this VAS product on both the operating systems. How to install the operating system, I can teach you in installations. In system management covers the more commands like how to start the server and how to start the node agent, how to start the deployment manager, how to stop and how to take the backup of the server, and all how to federate the node to the deployment manager. Everything, these are the commands we cover in system management. And coming to clustering chapter, a single server may not be capable of handling all the requests coming from the clients, and also if any server is failed due to some reason, it impacts the business. There is a reason we are using the clustering in an organization. Cluster is nothing but a logical group of application server. So if you configure the cluster members to the cluster, if any server is failed, then the request is automatically routed to the another cluster member. So these things we will discuss in clustering chapter. And security. In security, today's internet site and organization needs the security. If you do not provide the security, over network hackers are ready to hack the data. There is a reason we provide the security for application servers and applications. How to provide the security, how to provide the security for applications, these we will discuss in security chapter. Next one is SIP, means service integration bus. In service integration bus, in JMS JMS we use the service integration bus. Service integration bus functionality is to send the applications from source to the destination server. Java messaging service is so in Java messaging service we will discuss how to send the message from source to the destination. We will discuss in this JMS chapter. Now the performance is very important chapter in the organization. If let us rethink, if one chapter is means one application is showing lesser performance, and application server also showing lesser performance, and then we need to take some steps to improve the performance of the particular server. How to provide the performance to the server, and if the performance server showing the less performance, how to increase the performance, we will discuss in performance chapter. And the troubleshooting, this is very important chapter in troubleshooting. So in troubleshooting we need to know the log, what are the log files available in WebSphere application server and what is the importance of those log files, and we need to discuss some real-time issues and some issues. If the issue will come, means ticket will come, then how to troubleshoot the issue. These things we will discuss in troubleshooting chapter. The last chapter is the W statement scripting. So this is a non-graphical mode. We can use the this scripting to run the batch of jobs. Suppose you want to take the backup of the 50 servers and we want to take run the 10 clusters or whatever it may be. We need to use the manually. It is very difficult, and if you use the WSA statement scripting, it is very easy to do that particular job. Next thing I am going to teach you what is the internal architecture of this one, WebSphere. In this architecture we see here, in architecture WebSphere application server, in middle in blue color we have the WebSphere application server. In WebSphere application server, what is the, now we will discuss what is the main functionality of this WebSphere application server. So WebSphere application server provides the runtime capability to run the J2EE applications. That is nothing but ER files. So what is ER file? ER file is nothing but combination of .var files plus .var modules. So the application server provides, it is a JVM process. It provides the runtime capability to run the J2EE application, to manage the application, to troubleshoot the application. Whatever you do with the application server, the type of all the functionalities we can get from application server. Now in left side we have three types of clients, that is end users. So web browser and Java based client and messaging client. Web browser, you know, is nothing but client. Any client who wants to interact with our application server using the protocol like HTTP and secure protocol. And this is the second one is the J2EE clients and the J2SC Java client. These are all Java clients. These clients use the protocols RMA and IOOP protocol. RMA is remote method unification, IOOP is Internet Inter-ORB protocol. Using these protocols, Java based clients interact with the application server. And one more client is called end user, that is the messaging clients. Means whatever the messaging clients wants to interact with the application server, messaging clients, whatever the messages coming from messaging clients, will first of all it will transfer to the message queue on topic using the JMS service or MQ services. In queue, message queue on topic, the functionality of queue on topic is queue hosts the messages, that is one-to-one type of messages, and topic also hosts the messages, that is one-to-many type of messages temporarily before reaching the application server. Once the messages reached in queue and topic, JMS service directly interacts with the application server. Up to this point, there are various end users interact with our application server. So the web browser or Java based clients and messaging clients interact with the application server. Application server provides the functionality to deploy an application, to manage the application. If you want to store the Java application permanently, we need to use the application database, any database. WebSphere supports any kind of database like Oracle, IBM DB2, SQL, any database. If you want to provide the connectivity between the application server and the database, we use the JDBC driver, Java database connectivity, or directly we can use the SQL for Java. This provides the connectivity between the Java application and the application database. And WebSphere applications are also having one more facility, that is it is also interact with the third-party applications like ES systems, enterprise information systems, like in IBM Premiums we have the 6 language, and SAP is one language, and another CRM packages. To connect the Java application and the ES systems, we use the J2D, J2C connector. Java to connect is the connector which provides the connectivity between the Java application and the ES systems. Generally, this is application server purely designed for Java application deployment and management. That is the reason most of the organizations use this application server for Java application deployment only. And there is this facility, it also providing the facility to interact with the third-party applications. And one more, web services clients are there. Any web service clients also interact with the application server using the protocol, any of the protocol with either SOAP or HTTP or any service, JMS service. We use this service to get the services from our application server. Okay. This is the simple request and response flow. And how to get the services from this application server? There are three types of clients are there. Those are called the administrative clients. These administrative clients, one is the browser-based console. Using browser-based console, we get the services from this application server using any of the protocol like HTTP or SOAP or other protocols. The second type of facility is WS admin scripting. This is a non-graphical system. So that's a non-graphical tool. Using WS admin script, we can use the application server for our needs. And custom administrative client is nothing but any kind of program. Using that program, we can get the services from this one. Yeah. Okay. These administrative clients, there are different clients interact with our application server to get the any of the services. Those are called the administrative clients. Now this is we are talking about the single server, and many end users interact with the application server. Application server provides the functionality to deploy application, and if it needs to store the data application, we can use the data application. And many clients interact with the application server to get the services. And if you have more server, a single server may not be capable of handling all the requests coming from the client. That is the reason we use the more servers in an organization. If you use the more servers in an organization, definitely we use the web server. At the time, client directly interact with the web server and web server to the application server. And here, web server acts as a load balancer. Web server can spare the request to appropriate application server if you have the more server configured in your organization. Web server to application server, we use the plugin module. Plugin is a software. We use this software to interact with the application server. Means web server can send the request to the appropriate application server that through plugin. So plugin is a redirection module. In plugin we have the one file called the plugin config.xml file. In this file we have the request routing details. Means the request goes to which application server. That half of the information we get in this plugin config.xml file. Right? So what I mean to say, if you have more servers, definitely we use the web server for load balancing purpose. This is the request and response flow. In our application, we need to know the request and response flow for better understanding. Now I am going to teach you workload management. Yeah, workload management means here you observe in this diagram we have three cluster members, and the whenever the client wants to interact with this application server clusters, first of all the request goes to the web server. Web server can pay the request to the appropriate cluster member 1 or cluster member 2 or cluster member 3 through plugin. Here, what is the use of the workload management? Workload management provides the functionality that is workload is distributed among all the cluster members. These are configured in one cluster member. Each and every cluster member have application. Is the facility of if the one of the cluster member not in a position to handle the request coming from the client, at the time the request is routed automatically to the another cluster member. So this will not handle the request. The workload is very high, then it sends to the cluster member 3. So the workload is shared or distributed among all the cluster members equally. When the workload is distributed, the problems will not occur frequently. If the workload is not distributed properly, then a single server may feel the burden to handle all the requests coming from the client. At the time, the server may crash or server may hang. This situation occurs. So that we use the workload management for load balancing purpose. In this we have another type of client is called JMS client. JMS clients want to interact with our application server using JMS service. Before interacting with application server, the message stored in queue and topic. Temporarily it holds queue and topic holds the messages. And after providing these facilities, using the protocol, any active client can interact with this application server clustering. So basically clustering uses it to workload management and failover control purpose. Now, topologies. Topologies means there are two types of topologies: standalone topology and network deployment cell topology. Using standalone application server topology means structure, we can create only one application server. Using that, we can deploy one or two applications only, not more than that. If you use the network deployment cell topology, we can create the multiple number of the profiles, and also it has many facilities. It has distributed environment, it has clustering environment, it has all the environment, whatever the industry is, the type of all facilities we can get from network deployment cell topology. That is the reason we are going to learn this application server network deployment. First you see here standalone application. Here we have only one node. In one node we have only one application server. In one node, in one application server, and it has the facility to deploy the only one application. This is called standalone application server. Now we are talking about the network deployment cell topology. Network topology cell topology consists of this type of diagram. Here you observe there are in left side you have two application server on one node, in right side two application server on one node. So what is an application server? Application server is a JVM process. It provides the functionality to deploy an application, to manage the application, right? If what is a node? Node is nothing but grouping of application server. Node has the facility to create the application server. Here we have two application server on this node, one node. In right side we have two applications on another now. If you want to do some modification or maintain anything in individual application server, it is very difficult for the admin. So the same modification, same updation you want to do in any all the application server, this is very difficult for the admin. That is the reason we are expecting the application server connected to the deployment manager, or we are expecting the single point of administration to administer all the nodes and application server at once. So this facility provided by the deployment manager. So deployment manager can administer all the application server at once. So deployment manager is a manager which provides the functionality to manage all the application server nodes at once. So it reduces the administration overhead. Whenever you fed this application server node to the deployment manager, one node agent process is created. Node agent is a bridge between the deployment manager and the application server. Or node agent is a JVM process which is intermediary between the deployment manager and the application server. If you do, what is the use of the node agent? If you do any modifications in deployment manager or FT updates in deployment manager, those modifications will be propagated down to the node level configuration and server level configuration via node agent. That is the reason node agent provides the functionality to propagate the changes to this node level configuration. If you use the deployment manager facility, we manage all the application server at once. This application server profile, we can federate this application server to the deployment manager. In this WebSphere, we have all the components like deployment manager and a node agent, application server, and node. All these things available in cell. Means cell is an administrative unit of entire WebSphere process. This means cell can have anything, like all the components we have inside the cell. Cell is an administrative unit of the WebSphere process, or cell is a logical boundary of WebSphere application server components. That is the reason. Beyond the cell, we don't have anything. Within the cell, we have more things. Yes, what are the things? The components like deployment manager, node agent, and application server, and all these components we have inside the cell. Okay? Cell is a logical one. Okay. This is the difference between the standalone application server and the deployment manager. So in standalone application, it allows to create the only one application server, and in deployment manager we can create multiple application server, and we can federate all the application servers to the deployment manager. So it acts as a centralized. It provides centralized access to control all the servers. Whenever the deployment manager controls all the servers at once, the administration overhead is reduced. It reduces the administrative overhead. Okay. That is the reason many organizations use the deployment manager facility to control all the nodes and the servers. Yes, later I am going to give them a brief scenario about the what are the packages available in this application server, and what are the use of these application server packages. So that we have three types of packages. One is the express package and the base package and ND package. So express package means the first package means software package, in the sense software package, the first software package from IBM. Using express package, we can deploy only one application server. So express package provides the facility that is used to deploy or run any critical application using one application server and one application deployment only, not more than that. But earlier version, that is a earlier version. Next, base package is it has a license agreement to federate the node to the deployment manager. So the base package contains the it has a facilities to provide to for 2 CPS only. Means 2 CPS in the sense not more than that 2 piece. So it is base package is also limited to the 2 CPS. Means we cannot extend that limit later. That is the reason express package, base package not useful in these days, because nowadays globalization, due to the globalization, we can share and we need the distribution facility and network facility. That is the reason we are not interested to learn. Just we will learn the basics of these things, and we will do all the practical things and all the scenarios about ND. ND means network deployment package. Network deployment package consists of all the facilities. It has distributed environment, and it has clustering facility, it has security facility, it has performance tuning facility, and it has all the facilities, like whatever the industries, whatever the client needs, all the type of all the facilities available in network deployment package. This is the reason we are going to learn the network deployment software package. In this network package, there are so many versions are there. Earlier versions are 5.8, 6.0, 6.1 and 7.0, and in 6.0 version there is a profile concept where there are 3 profiles available. That is the deployment manager profile and application server profile and custom profile. So deployment manager profile can administer all the servers at once, and the application servers, it provides the functionality to deploy the application. Coming to custom profile, when you choose the custom profile, then we can create application server with our own name. Means by default, if you install the application server, by default we get only the application server name is the server 1, but server 1, server 2 names we are not using in organization, but the application names depends on the company name, project name, module name. Based on that, to do this one, we use the custom profile. Next one is cell profile. Cell profile creates, this is a combination of deployment manager and the application server. Whenever you install the cell profile, we can create the application server and deployment manager, and we can federate all the application server to the deployment manager during the installation. So that means no need of the federation. That is the reason in 6.0 we have 3.6.1 we have 4 profiles. In 7.0 we have many profiles, like these above these, like deployment manager, cell profile, and application server profile, and also job manager profile is there. And so this is about the profile. Now today this is a brief introduction about the WebSphere application server. The rest of the things we will discuss in next session. Today I am going to end this section. Okay, bye. Thank you.